Well, we're back here today. I sit down and I think to myself, what am I going to talk about today? And honestly, sometimes it's right when I'm recording. And I think freedom of thought is in danger, which is a little unsettling because you see these forums and like people start using buzzwords of, you know, there's a gender war going on. There's job market crashing, the economy's screwed, we're cooked. I hate that phrase, we're cooked. Like, calm down, it's not that serious. Wait and see how things go. There's only so much you can control in your life, to be honest. I think once you start going with a mindset of, hey, there's only certain things in my life that I can control, and the rest is outside of my control. So if I focus on the things that are outside of my control, then I will create my own suffering. And you don't want a life full of suffering. I think. Most people wouldn't, right? Unless you're a masochist or someone who's just like loves pain. But I think that's a huge outlier of people that are going to be watching this video. And one that really has, I've come to my young age of 27, I realized that anytime, it's kind of a paradox here, but any kind of online content that I think is very popular and gets a lot of traction and is talked about a lot is like dating advice. God, there's so much shit, garbage dating advice out there that people sell and make money off of when the real answer to it is probably very boring and doesn't make you any money. But these people don't care. I saw so many dating channels I've seen from other people talk about this, which is so true. It is a funnel for OnlyFans and like sexual content and just garbage of these women on there. And they're like, well, look, guys, modern women over here. Like, what do you talk about? That's like if I picked up a guy who gambles and drinks all the time and beats women and be like, modern men, am I right, guys? Whew, what a bum. Every kind of guy is going to be like this, basically. Stupid. And it can be really harmful to people that are a lot younger than me. You see some discourse in some videos where it's like, oh, girls are like this, da 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 da. And you almost have to treat it just on these people may have pain from their other experiences. And maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I kind of fell into that ideology. Very naive at the time. I thought any kind of experience I had up to that point was like, hey, I had it all figured out. And at least in high school, I remember from my dad telling me sometimes when I would get a little arrogant and I was like a know-it-all and thought I just had it all figured out, he'd be like, well, guess you got it all figured out here, right? You don't need anything from me. And I used to think he would do that to push my buttons, but now with some perspective, I'm like, you know what? I now see what you mean, because you really don't know that much in the grand scheme of life. I'm just giving my thoughts on this. Who's to say they won't change in a year or two? It's just kind of how I feel in the moment, but I feel this could resonate with other people that watch this because something is not right with how people interact. It almost seems that I try to go around and give a smile to people and make eye contact as a challenge to my anxiety, because it's really hard for me to like look someone in the eye, especially a girl that is any kind of girl, especially attractive women. But I, honest to God, any kind of girl, no matter how they look or whatever, it is so hard for me to make eye contact because I get this anxious thought that they're going to think I'm creepy, or why is he looking at me? Does he like me? Or, making them uncomfortable or something. And this is probably an irrational thought, and it's something I need to work on because not everyone is going to be like that when you make eye contact with them. But I don't know, just something I need to work on. And I think circling this back, right? This is from like seeing YouTube compilations of girls on TikTok giving crap advice and, oh, don't approach this way, make sure you approach that. And most people, they don't put stuff online. They don't have a digital footprint. They're just kind of living their own lives and, um, or maybe are well versed in social and not really creator. For me, this is kind of just like a diary of kind of what's going on in my life or headspace at the time. To be honest, I feel as I get older and as I work out, I have more confidence in my body, and that kind of feeds into your psyche and then your mindset, and you just become a better person in the sense of you're putting hard work into your body. And some people may respect that, some don't. It's not for really other people. You do it for yourself, because for a time, some guys probably relate to this. They may have entered the gym because of heartbreak, or for me, I just felt I was way too skinny, and in order for me to compete and, gain, I guess, women's attention in dating, because I was really insecure about my height, my nose, um, other facial features, that, okay, I'm just going to have to work out and maybe through there I could attract people. And then you kind of go through different phases of, well, I had some heartbreak, and sometimes you let that angst and anger fuel you, but eventually it runs out. And then you almost have to ask yourself a real hard, serious question of, what's the real reason you're doing this? I had a hard time, honestly, about maybe 2 years ago in my lifting journey, where I just kind of moved on from this past relationship I had around 2020. It was short-lived, but I really liked this girl, and I just wasn't really mature about it at the time. And there's some things I look back, I'm like, yep, I could have done a lot of things so it didn't end up like that, and wasn't really fair to her. And it took a lot of time for me to forgive myself, but also just kind of grow from that experience. And once that happened, that anger and resentment I had just faded away, and I relied on that as fuel a lot in the gym. And once that's gone, you're just, what's next? What is that factor to push you forward in times of hardship or when you need discipline and things are doing okay? That's when I think the real you comes out, because you need to be real with yourself and realize, what is the reason why I'm here? Why am I doing this kind of thing in the first place? Is it something external, or do I really truly want to improve myself? Because some guys say, like how I was a couple of years, oh, I do it for women. Or so actually, sometimes they're not even that upfront about it. For me, yeah, I did it for women. Some may argue I probably still do, because I'm single and I want to be the best shape I can in my life and be the best me for whoever is that person I find in my life that hopefully is a great connection and so forth. Because some people are like, oh, I want to be single forever and never get married, but honestly, life's too short, and I at least want a companion or someone, that I can confide in and have a partner that loves me for me, all that mushy gushy stuff that some people are like, oh, you're simping or whatever. But I don't think those people kind of understand that kind of dynamic. Marriage is a whole nother conversation. I just think about it as like, maybe when I find someone and I even consider that with them, I would give it a long, hard thought, but I'm not even that step of my life at the moment. So what's the point of even daydreaming about it or being like, oh, what if, da da da? Kind of silly. But for the gym part, it really was like being disciplined. And like, I think losing weight right now, that's my goal, has been helping me stay on track and kind of have something to, look forward to in the gym, because these short-term goals you set up for yourself give you a little direction in your life, especially when you're kind of trying to just figure things out and you don't know long-term what's going on. And some people, they'll be like, all right, I want to get, dating, and it's like gamified. It's what are these things to keep her interest, or say these things to, reel them in. And it's just kind of yucky. It's like, that's how we go about things. I don't know. It's a little, I understand, there's some game and you have to be confident and charismatic, but I think at the end of the day, it just comes to being a well-rounded person that's entertaining and like nice to talk to. I think that goes a long way, and people tend to overcomplicate it because, we're human at the end of the day. When there's problems, we want clear-cut solutions. I think for guys, it's very logical, where it's like, okay, if I do these couple of things, then I'll see some improvement in my life. It's how I looked at some certain things. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes it blows up in your face, and you're like, why did I even do this shit? That was dumb. Yeah. Just some weird stuff for sure, that you almost have to disconnect yourself from the internet and actually really rely on your intuition and your own life experiences for how you make your decisions. Because there's a time where I was like, well, if it's happening on the internet and maybe a handful or a lot of people, and you just keep seeing this content being fed to you, you think that's what everyone's going through, but that's just your feed that's curated to reflect a reality that you believe in is true. But in a sense, it's an illusion. And that's kind of a mind fuck, honestly. It's especially when there's so much content out there now. I can see the appeal of shorts because you don't have to really go into long form and be raw about it or whatever with it, like long form content. But it gets to a point, especially when you throw AI into the fold, of what's next? Is you don't know what's going to be real or not? Is it going to affect how, if people are complaining about dating now, how is it going to be in 10 or 15 years when AI improves? And you are seeing a story of a guy that fell in love with his AI chat bot. I forgot the name, but it was like he had a full-on relationship with it to the point it maxed out on its conversation bank and it deleted it. So this person was just wiped clean. And it's like when you grow an attachment to something, an emotional attachment, you just like, it's like devastating. But this guy wasn't single. He had a wife, or actually, no, he didn't have a wife. He had a girlfriend and a daughter. So that's crazy in itself, because what the hell there? Probably an outlier, but we're in a new frontier. Excuse me. And it's going to be interesting to see how things kind of go from here. What's next for men and women, society, We almost have to just wait and see. I don't got the answers. These are interesting questions to ask oneself, but I'm just one man sharing my thoughts into here. Sometimes what for me to get through the week is I just look forward to the next One Piece episode or manga chapter. I love that series to death. I'm debating of making a YouTube video on that one day, but I don't know. I guess I don't really have an audience, so it's like I can kind of go, well, let me rephrase that. I don't have like a huge audience built on a certain topic, so I have the freedom to kind of just discuss about these things. The shirt I'm wearing is from one of my favorite video games of all time, being Persona. And in that game, you have your own persona, as the name is entitled. Whoa, what a concept, right? And certain people will live their life one way, but deep down they have dark desires or things that they truly believe in. And a lot of people sell you a lie and grift right to your face for monetary gain. And that's awful. That's pretty evil. I hate that shit. Um, I have the ultimate disdain and just disgust for people that take advantage of people that are struggling, or maybe looking for answers, and they're like, well, I could make a quick buck off this sucker, and I'll create a problem and sell them a solution, kind of thing. And we see that a lot in dating, which is pretty lame, because it used to just be about getting someone, but now it's like, well, I want hot young women, and I want to be a playboy, and oh, all my money and stuff. I've seen so much crap like that where guys are selling courses, and I'm like, what the hell is this garbage? I see some YouTube videos about it, just making fun of it. But there's actual people out there that buy this shit. It just blows my mind, because I feel like these actions of those people get a reputation where people think we could just generalize it, and it's very depressing, honestly, to see. But that's not the norm, and hopefully, maybe as things go on, more people that kind of fall in the middle or are a little more normal, whatever that means anymore, speak out and call this stuff out, because I still think, going about things in a moral way is a nice way to live, or fills you with a sense of justice and like pride in oneself. I really like Stoicism as a philosophy, and some of the ideals in there really resonate with me. And I think that's how you get purpose in one's life and direction. So, yeah, I think that's all I really had to talk about on this video. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.